This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
So with most components in the automotive world, parts are produced or calibrated with compromise in mind. That is to say, what's fine for the street strip racer is not the same for your grandma.
The performance-oriented individual is in the minority when it comes to mass-produced vehicles, but there's enough of us that we end up with companies like Jegs, Mancini, Summit, so on and so forth.
If Dodge, Plymouth, or Chrysler were to get this compromise wrong, more customers might gravitate towards a more limp-wristed offerings of other manufacturers.
Now this compromise was built into every Torqueflite and probably more as time went on.
This is not to say improvements weren't made. They were.
Companies focus more on luxury and big car feel. It's also this compromise that leads to longevity issues. A cushy, nearly unnoticeable shift incorporates some degree of built-in slippage.
Slippage is bad. It creates heat.
Breaks down fluid and wears on your clutches. Think of slipping the clutch on your a manual transmission, because we know there's none left.
Unlike most high-performance modifications, modifying your Torqueflite for crisp, firm shifts goes hand in hand with increased longevity and decreased ETs.
And realizing more of your existing horsepower. It's a win-win situation.
You can build a Torqueflite that could be handed down to your grandchildren.
They won't even know what the hell it is by the time it gets to them. Okay, I think where I left off, we're explaining the importance of correctly maintaining your vehicle's kickdown assembly. Throttle pressure, your gas pedal position.
Infinitely regulates the pressure inside the transmission. Under
light throttle, shifts aren't as noticeable or as harsh. This is great for your Aunt Tilly,
but not so good for your race car.
If your kickdown is not set correctly,
you could realize, or maybe not realize, some slippage under harsh acceleration. Don't fool yourself into thinking you can manually shift your way out of it. Remember, it's automatic.
This is bad, and before you know it, you'll be looking at a rebuild. By now, you should, and probably do, understand the importance of correctly adjusting your kickdown assembly.
Alright, so with that, this is why we're not going to use one.
I think it's safe to say all aftermarket manual valve bodies are produced with no provision for a kickdown, and with few exceptions are made with a reverse pattern.
The manufacturer has dialed in a set pressure that does not vary.
For the most part, these are considered race parts or serious street strip pieces.
Some offer street-friendly, less harsh manual valve bodies with slightly reduced pressures, but will operate at safe parameters during wide open throttle.
In our case, we've opted for the TransGo TF3 full manual reprogramming kit.
This kit features full control over every shift. If you leave it in first gear, it'll stay in first, and so on.
It will not automatically upshift to second or third. Park, reverse, neutral, drive second, first.
Now here's kind of the curveball. The modern versions of this kit assume you're using a kickdown assembly. What? That's right. The newer instructions show making a kickdown adjustment at the valve body. It appears they leave it up to you as far as the linkage goes.
The instructions do point out that the kit should be installed by a certified mechanic. J, not I or Blake.
So the certified mechanic's going to make sure that the kickdown is probably already set up correctly, and so on and so forth.
J-Bo remembers the old versions of the kit that mentioned you tie back the kickdown lever.
Which seems kind of janky, but we're going to show you kind of a neat way that we do it, I guess, or whatever, that it's inside the transmission. We tie it back, so to speak.
Another feature of the TF3 kit is the ability to swap back to full auto TF2 version,
which is a full automatic performance valve body kit. So you'll need to make sure that you save a valve body spring, and then there's a bypass plate that you need to remove that we showed you in a previous video that we installed. So with that, you can actually turn it back to an automatic version of the kit, and you'll still be able to retain the ability to leave it in first gear, and it will stay in first, whatever, until you shift into second, and so on and so forth. So kind of neat. But if you do revert back to a TF2, you would have to incorporate a proper kickdown assembly. As far as kickdown assemblies go, there are probably 2 dozen probably versions of the Kickdown bell crank and rod, you know, for big block, small block, slant six, of course. And the aftermarket's really kind of come through with brand new assemblies, but they kind of come at a cost. A cheaper alternative would be, like say your low car Kickdown cable kit. And those are a little bit on the finicky side to adjust, but you know, you can do it, you know, and they do work. So, but with our D50 project, we don't have a lot of room in the transmission tunnel area to deal with a Mickey Mouse standard Kickdown assembly. We could go with a low car, but I just assume not. So, and we're doing a TF3, so it's not necessary. So anyway, all right, after this, we'll go ahead and show you kind of our valve body setup and how we eliminated our kickdown, or we eliminated. We're not gonna tie the kickdown back, but we're gonna make the tie back, I guess, inside the valve body. All right, stay tuned.
This kit features full control over every shift. Leave it in first, it'll stay in first. And not upshift automatically, and so on for second and third. This is a forward shift kit. The shift pattern is in a normal layout. Part number N321. Here's kind of the curveball. The modern version of the kit assumed...
Number, wait. Part number.
Yeah.
Part number, where's part number
Oh,
at?
sorry. Sorry.
Part neutral reverse. Part number 321.
Mine's part number 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.